to Dr. Tamer to give us an outline of the Centres of Excellence the announcement that's been made for this exciting venture here in Saudi Arabia.
Thank you, Wendy. Can you hear me?
I can hear.
Thank you, Wendy. It is first of all a pleasure to join all of you today. I'm pleased to recall the announcement that made by the Minister of Industry and Mineral Resources on the Ministerial Roundtable about the establishment of Mineral Innovation Acceleration Park, which is a seed of Regional Center of Excellence that's serving the Kingdom and the Super region, including Africa, Central and Western Asia. And by having this announcement at the Ministerial Roundtable, we highlight the importance of Center of Excellence as part of the value chain of mineral industry, in the way that as we're thinking about the research and innovation, think about the fundamental research, applied research, technology development, and then we can take these technologies into the deployment in the business levels. And when we think about the Innovation Acceleration Park, we think about two major segments, or three. The first one is dealing with the applied research. So we develop the infrastructure, the human capabilities, the talent that needed to run the national labs for the mining industry. The second one is the technology incubators. So in the way that if we find that a given research is matured to be converted into technology, then we take it as an incubator until become mature for the market. And the third one is the accelerator. We have many technologies in the market. We don't have to reinvent the wheel. We can take one of these technologies, allow startups to take it into the market and become deployed for the benefit of the mineral industry. And with this mindset, we bridge what is known the Death Valley in the innovation mindset in general. But when we think about such announcement in the Ministerial Roundtable, we think about something else as well. As we know for a long period of time that the mineral industry, most of the companies, they think about how we take these resources from ground and export them for the end users. With having Center of Excellence, we try to maximize the value of materials. We think about the materials as they are an input, not the output of the process. In the way that we think about the technology development as part of our cause. And by the end of the day, we will export and produce technologies. We think about the minerals themselves as an input for byproducts using the mineral processing chains that we can develop in the national labs. And with all of this in mind, we acknowledge there is a pioneer institutions in the region, spanning from South Africa all the way to Turkey, all the way to Kazakhstan. And what we are trying to say is that we are part of the super region, and our values fulfill the commitments that came to cross to the kingdom to help the super region in such transition from raw materials to much advanced technologies that's supporting the mineral industry.
That's fantastic. What a great summary of the announcement that's been made. And I love that you've grounded this in the values of the country, the values that are really important,
yes,
and the values that connect across the region. So, and I heard applied research, incubators and assimilators. So very interesting opportunities there. So Dr. Erkin, could you tell us, and you've been involved in the conversations you presented also at the Ministerial Forum, can you tell us why this is important, why the Centres of Excellence are crucial for the region?
Thank you. Last September, again in Riyadh, we had a meeting of experts, so to speak. I was also invited at KARXT to identify, some of the major objectives and challenges, of such a larger region or super region, as they say, group of center of excellences. It turned out there are very, very crucial points, you know, that all these countries in the super region need to get together and produce technologies, you know, of related to critical minerals, not only in exploration but up to all the steps within the value chain, up to the training, you know, of sufficient number of skilled personnel. And some of the motivations or objectives of these centers we had discussed was each one of us in the panel or in the workshop, we were aware, you know, that critical minerals, you know, supply security is very crucial nowadays for national security, both in developed countries and developing countries. The reason why is that access to supply security is important is that industrialization and technology development is strongly nowadays dependent on access to these critical minerals. If you consider, for instance, your cell phone, there are close to 50, you know, critical minerals that are involved in the manufacturing of a single cell phone. If you look at it, almost all sectors in high technology, all industries, they involve access to critical mineral supply. And nowadays, you may see, you know, certain regions or domains or countries, you know, within the world, they are using the access to critical supply as a leverage, you know, for political power or, you know, industrial power. Certain regions in the world, for instance, they control above 90% access, you know, to rare earth elements, and that's very critical. So distribution of these technologies among the member countries, proposed member countries of these centers of excellence is very crucial because especially in the domain of rare earths, you know, the separation of these 16 rare earth elements is a very difficult task. You know, it requires a considerable amount of engineering, and the technology to do this, you know, is nowadays, you know, is limited. You know, we don't have widespread access, you know, to this technology, and there are export restrictions, regulations against the spread, you know, of these technologies.
Thanks, Dr. Tamer.
Yes.
Thank you. Did you have something else you wanted to say?
Yeah, did I finish my time?
Sorry?
I can continue, yeah? Carry on. And in addition, the climate control and clean energy, you know, as many of the industrialized countries, you know, have dedicated themselves through international commitments like COP28 and others international agreements. Use of critical minerals to achieve this is essential. Like for instance, if you take two of the major ways of clean energy production, the photovoltaics and wind turbines, they involve heavy use of critical minerals. So not only in industrialization and technological advancement, they have a very critical and crucial role in climate control and our international commitments, you know, to climate control.
That's fantastic. Thank you so much, Dr.
Yes.
Erkin.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I called you the wrong name, didn't I? So the summary, if I may, is that it's really critical. The centres of excellence are really critical for security of supply and developing the technologies in the region, in this super region, for processing, for advancing the use and processing across the value chain.
Yes, I was just going to make my punchline.
Okay.
The punchline is we are not capable of achieving all these alone, you know, because some of us, you know, we have the mineral reserves, but we don't have sufficient technology, you know, to explore or recover those reserves. So we need to get together to achieve the full cycle, value cycle of these processing of critical minerals. And that's the reason why the concept of centers of excellence is very crucial.
Fabulous. Thank you so much, Dr. Erkin.
Thank you.
So now we've heard about what the centres of excellence are and why they're critically important. Now what we're going to do is talk about the building blocks for the centres of excellence, and we're going to draw on the incredible expertise that we have as part of the panel. So I'm now going to ask Jackie to speak about, in terms of who should be involved, tell us about your experience in building capability and talent. And Jackie has a particular passion for this.
Thank you, Wendy. I think when we come to the story or to the conversation on centres of excellence, it's quite a big word, it's quite a big ambition. And we need to ask ourselves, is it possible, and what do we need to do to make it possible? So in light of that, I'd like to share some examples. One of my favorite examples is the International Centre for Radio Astronomy Research. It's a joint venture between two universities in the state of Western Australia. It was set up in 2009 when there were only 6 radio astronomers. Now, why would the centre be important to Western Australia? Well, the reason it was set up is because of the Square Kilometre Array, which is a global initiative to share in the advancing of telescope technology, radio astronomy technology. The Square Kilometre Array itself is a huge program which began last year in its construction. But in order to get there, we needed the talent, we needed the capability, we needed the skills, we needed the ecosystem. So this International Centre of Radio Astronomy was set up, 6 radio astronomers in Perth. We now have 1,000. 1,000 radio astronomer engineers, scientists, astronomers who draw attention globally in terms of their capability and are servicing. So this is a beautiful example of what is possible when the right people are involved. So what are the elements of being involved? The first is understanding that in order for a centre of excellence to succeed, we need to have an altruistic intent.
Jackie.
Thank you. I'm not quite sure whether I'm to stand up now and sing and dance.
Can you sing?
No. So the first element that's absolutely critical is to understand the purpose and what you're trying to achieve. That purpose takes you well beyond your own requirements and your own needs. It's a sense of altruism. The second is that in bringing a joint venture together, there must be as little competition as possible. These two joint venture parties should be compatible with each other. They should complement each other. And that leads me to the third principle, and that is supplementarity. In other words, the work of the one must supplement, augment, and allow the other to flourish. So those 3 principles are critical. So how do you get that? How do you get that? Who needs to be involved? Well, you need governments involved, you need state support. That state support in Australia insists on an impact on translation program. And that involves school children, it involves teacher programs, it involves programs out into the community. You also need your academics. You need academics involved because they're the ones who, for some reason, just are delighted to come up with the solutions. And thirdly, you need industry. You need industry to be able to draw on the talent and actually apply the talent. So those would be, I think, from that example. There are many other examples. Another favorite of mine is the WAXI project, or the West African Exploration Initiative, which has produced, I think it's over 100 PhDs and higher degree researchers across 29 countries involving the geological surveys of the region. So that's been running for about 20 years now, and you're seeing the graduates of this program are now the leaders of the modules. So that's an Amari Global initiative. So I think that gives you two examples.
Great examples. So the radio astronomy example, so not directly mining, but of course there is a connection. And a great example of going from 6 to 1,000 astronomers. And then WAXI, the West African Exploration Initiative, which is also very successful. So now turning to you, oh sorry, Raj. You have had a lot of experience in the role of technology in developing centres of excellence. You may be okay with your mic. Let's just see. You've got a lot of experience. Could you share with us what you see as being the important role for technology and a couple of examples, quick examples of how technology can help centres of excellence?
Sure. Thanks, Mandy. Can you hear me, hopefully? Yep, perfect. At least I'll keep this down. So, from an importance of, I'll break the question into two parts, right? So one is the importance of technology, and second is how will technology help? So if you're really addressing the importance of technology, taking my own experience, been in this industry and been in other industries for 25 years in developing technology and deploying commercial available technologies across different industries, the common element is data doesn't have emotion, technology doesn't have emotion. It always comes down to people. So people, the common element is always going to be people make technology happen. So it is fantastic to see, to bring the common purpose that Dr. Tema talked about in bringing the Center of Excellence. Because if you have that common purpose, half your hurdle is gone. Technology then becomes more an enablement at that point. So now coming back to the second aspect of how can technology help with a couple of examples, right? So for example, even within our own, in an Australian environment, we're working with a couple of customers with different service providers. We're starting an initiative called Open Surface, Subsurface Data Universe. So what we're trying to do is to bring all data parties. Why do we need to do it? Because today, if you look at the industry, it is in a discrete silos. We are split by geologists, drill and blast, production, mining and processing. If we want to talk the common language, but the challenge is a different ahead. We need to find new ores faster. We need to produce existing ores better. And there is a sustainable angle on an ESG commitment. So if you want to do all these three at the same time, you can't just be operating in the same traditional norm of operating in silos.
Yeah.
And if you want to bring it together, especially with the Center of Excellence now looking at regions, different regions coming together, you first need to have common data available. Data has to be available, usable, and readily be able to provide insights. And this is the fundamental reason we are putting together to create that open source, open subsurface data universe. So that it becomes a platform for every customer, every vendor, every region to start committing to the data in that aspect. And that is the first aspect. So once you have data available, from there you can lead on to making insights and finally making intelligent decisions.
Fantastic.
So in essence, all I want to say is technology to me has always been an enabler. And I think it is a fantastic thing. We have a lot of technologies available, computing powers have come on, and now with the common purpose that we have in the Center of Excellence, it is the right time to move from the discrete silos that we have always been to the integrated systems workflows that we should be. Thank you.
Great message on the importance of data and technology and the ways that it can be, that it can really contribute to building cohesive centres of excellence. Now, I've been given the 5-minute warning, and it was about a minute ago. So I'm going to go to Mzila, who's going to tell us give us an example of, you should be right with your, yeah. He's going to talk about the Mandela Mining Precinct, and then what I'm going to do is ask for a 20-second call to action from each of you.
Thank you.
So, Mzila.
All right, am I audible enough? Okay.
Yes. You're beautiful.
So the Mandela Mining Precinct was established about 5 years ago at a time of a crisis of existence in the mining industry in South Africa. And I think that pointed to the importance of how you actually establish a center of excellence in terms of what the issue is at the time. And so one of the things that makes for a successful Center of Excellence is that it's a multi-stakeholder initiative. And so when it was established, it included not only industry, but also government. Labor was critical, but also traditional authorities, civil society, indigenous communities. And the importance of that is that what the mining industry does, it doesn't do only for its sake, but for the benefit of the nation.
Yeah.
And if you look at a lot of other countries, the significance of mining in terms of its contribution to the economy is quite substantial. And so mining tends to be a catalyst for many other things. The second point I want to make in terms of what makes for a successful Center of Excellence are some of the points that have been made around here. And that is that you've got to place people at the center of excellence. And with the Mandela Mining Precinct and having been established about 5 years ago, at the time the focus was on South Africa's platinum and gold mining industry, who today remain as the largest employer. So it was really about saving jobs. And so it was looking at technologies that will at first enhance the ability of people to work efficiently. Secondly, to be able to extend the life of the ore bodies and to maximize the ore body potential. But also most importantly, to ensure that given the deep level nature of gold and platinum, that people continue to work safely. So technology, the role of technology was really around how it enhances the capability of people. And with that, we think that in the past 5 years, we've established a very good foundation to then be able to participate in these types of collaboration and look forward to the opportunities that critical minerals has to offer. And this is some of the research that is going in terms of applied research, partnering with universities, as well as other institutions that will enable us to exploit this opportunity coming forward.
So thank you, Mzila. You've opened the door to a new and interesting area to draw experience from. And I love that you've reminded us that centres of excellence sit within the ecosystem of the broader community and the nation. And in the case of the centres of excellence that we're talking about, in the context of the super region. Okay, so I think we've got about 1.5 minutes. 2, okay. So 20 seconds, call to action. Jackie, we'll go from person to person.
Okay, so my call to action is I'm going to acknowledge Kip Jeffries' comment he made last night, which was all we ever want, the universal principle across all cultures, is for our children and the next generation to have a better existence than ourselves. Now, if we take that into account, 1 in 4 people in 2050 will be from Africa. Currently, 60% of Africans are under 25, and 60% of children between the ages of 15 and 17 are not in school. So if we're serious about the centres of excellence and we're serious about handing the world over in a better way, we've got to take account of the communities all around us and educate the children. And I believe that the Centre of Excellence has to start with education across the board.
Beautifully said. Thank you, Jackie.
And maybe to pick up on that, the point I made about technology and innovation need to be about enhancing the capability of people. I think from a Mandela Mining Precinct, it was established at a time when it had to look inward. There's an opportunity for it to take an outward look and take advantage of the opportunities that have been presented here in terms of collaboration. I think there's a huge opportunity for South Africa and the rest of the region to take advantage of what this forum has presented. Thank you.
Lovely. Thank you.
Maybe if I add something is just to remind all of us that the MIAB or Mineral Innovation Acceleration Park came to existence based on collaboration.
Yeah.
We introduced the concept, and I see a couple of the folks joining us today here. They are the minds who developed the notion of the Mineral Innovation Acceleration Park. And the collaboration does not really introduce initiatives, but introduce the challenges by which we focus our research and technologies to solve them for the benefit of the super region.
Beautifully said. Thank you.
Now, along the lines of putting together these centers of excellence, nowadays we are in the process of convincing governments and related institutions to become partners. So each one of us, if when we go back to our countries, maybe try to contact the relevant organizations or ministries and try to convince those ministries to become partners or contact maybe Dr. Tamir for further discussions. That would be valuable for us this time. Thank you.
That's a great message too, to encourage others to become partners. And the final word to you, Raj.
So no pressure, I'm finishing up. So for the collaboration to work, again, being a pragmatist, if you want the collaboration to be in a continuous, sustainable mode, everyone in the ecosystem needs to be in a position to have two things. One, create value, which I think we'll be doing as a humans, as we said, from a society aspect. Creating value is common and it'll come naturally. For the collaboration to work sustainably, the key is also going to be how are we going to capture the value?
Yeah.
So that every region in this, participating as part of the super region, has a method to capture that value. And I think that is going to be the term of reference from a center of excellence to define creation value or capturing value is going to be the key one. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you so much, Raj. Thank you so much to the panel. Let's celebrate the opportunity that comes from creating the centres of excellence for the super region and celebrate the people and the collaboration and the innovation. And thank you very much to our panelists for their insights and their contribution. And thank you.